Hey guys, welcome back to Compound. Today we're going over the Mexico GP. As always, I'm here with Charlie.
Hello.
So let's get straight into it. Mexico Grand Prix, first three cars on the grid, or first four cars on the grid, three Honda power units. Again, the altitude I think played into a slight factor being up high because these Honda cars love it, the Mercedes engine not so much. What do you think, Charlie?
I think that, maybe the engines played a part in it, but I also think that having a crash, spinning on the first corner, and putting yourself to the back of the grid also plays a part. I think if that didn't happen, if Ricciardo didn't lock up and then crash into Bottas, yes, Bottas did drop down because Max was incredible and jumped them both. Then I do think Bottas would have still probably been up there, but then it's that constant thing, as we always say, Mercedes having to follow people, it just doesn't work.
Mercedes have also said Max is under the initial move at the beginning of the thing was guesswork, and he basically just sent it there and hoped. Is what they came out and said earlier the week. So it's a bit like, okay, yes, you're trying to be Max as being unresponsible and just sending it into areas that isn't a car currently, but also if you don't take the risks, that's how he gets where he is.
I don't think that's not responsible at all, because he was sending it to a part of the track that, worst thing that happens, he misses the corner, he drives off, he rejoins in fourth or fifth, still on the first lap, and he knows he's got the pace to be able to get past those few cars, and he's basically lost nothing. He's just lost a couple of laps. I think that Max was quick enough that had he done that, he would still have gone on to be challenging to win that race if he had missed the corner and gone off.
My friend messaged me, he said, during the time the race started, what was on? I was like, we're like lap 17. He was all sitting there, anything new? I was like, Max is like 10 seconds ahead currently. It was so crazy. He basically just got that first lap and just kept gaining a second on a lap.
See, that's the thing. The reason why I think that if Bottas hadn't have been crashed into, Bottas would have stayed up there is because Max couldn't take the fastest lap away from Bottas.
No, yeah.
And he was kind of trying, but obviously Bottas had the luxury of being able to pit again and again and again to get new tyres.
And he had did he have a set? He had a set of softs, and a couple of people had a set of softs ready. If they need to put the fastest lap on, they could whack them on and go for it, like new softs. So
yeah, I mean, I was confused at one point why Lewis didn't pit when I thought Perez was going to fly past him, and then in the end he never did. And again, it's the same thing. Like, it's these cars that you just hope that these sort of races happen next year where the cars can go closer together, because again, Perez was quicker, Perez was gaining, and then Perez's tyres just fell off / running in the dirty air, couldn't get past him. I mean, great result for Perez to finish third in Mexico. Like, that was a nice bit of the weekend. I think as well, unsung hero would be Gasly. Obviously, you've already mentioned the engines, but to finish P4 and get such a good haul of points for the team when your teammate's out in the first corner, through no fault of his own, really.
And no one mentioned it, really.
And it just wasn't
kind of went under the radar. No one was like, because obviously Checo, I'm not going to say discount Checo, P3, home race, kind of everyone loved to see the Mexican up there. So because that was so big and blunt, I think people didn't notice that Pierre Gasly just snuck in P4 in an AlphaTauri, beating all the Ferraris, all the Astons, all the McLarens, all the Alpines, like, just slotted straight in there.
And I'd say
beating Bottas.
I'd say because there was a battle going on at the top, but there really wasn't when there's 16 and a half seconds between Max and Lewis. I was just rewatching the highlights this morning, and they were saying that Lewis has never won a world championship when he's not been leading the world championship going into the last 6 races. Do you think this is it for him now?
I think, going back to a video that banged in the Netherlands, people hated it. Max has now, I think, got into Lewis' heads enough to be like, right, Lewis is like, shit, this is not how it goes. Because he's won so many championships in his head. Is he going, right, fuck? If I'm winning the championship, I have this many points for this moment in time from my rival. I know exactly I've got these 3 races. I can win it in this race. But now it's getting closer and closer. Lewis may not win it. Every race, you may see more scattiness come out, being like doing more Max. As much as Mercedes hates it when it happens to them, you may see Lewis doing more Max style driving, a bit more risky, pushing people, a bit aggressive. He's like, fuck, I want to win the championship. I have to go now.
Yep.
Valtteri Bottas could have won the championship until last weekend, until Daniel Ricciardo gave him a kiss on the back. But then it's now a 2-car race. Max is leading. Hamilton would be like, shit,
9 points behind.
He could do that easily if a Verstappen happens where the tyre blows out, puts him into a wall. He get like Baku, for example, or something that happens out of Max's control. Because unfortunately, things happen a lot more often to Max. I see where it's like, okay, Lewis turning on brake magic, that kind of helped the situation, but Max having a tyre blowout, the luck factor. Max seems to be more unlucky in Mihide.
It could come down to the fact that Lewis is expected to take another engine penalty before the end of the year. That could literally be it.
Was it Bottas used one engine for one race or something because it seized up? This new engine.
He's on his
and
sixth.
Also, we know he doesn't like altitude either.
Yeah.
Brazil isn't exactly high altitude; it's 700 meters above the sea level, but the altitude will still play a slight factor because these machines are so highly tuned. Little variations can have a couple grams here, a couple of meters here, big impacts.
Big difference, yeah. Looking at this weekend then.
Yeah, going into it, Brazil.
Yeah, Sao Paulo. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I like in the Red Bull's pace. They've come through strong.
Also, I need to apologise. It wasn't 9 points. It's 19 points he's had, which makes it even more so shit.
Because I've got on my screen, I've got last race's points up. I didn't have any of the current standings.
Yeah, sorry. I
current standings.
Thought I'd correct.
But yeah, so Brazil. I reckon Red Bull are running strong. I think we may see the similar run of strength across Red Bull family. So I mean, even the AlphaTauri is coming through strong as well because the car's working, the engines are working. We know they share notes between each other. They're not going to be no information for you. They kind of interchange. I think that's going to help them a lot going into Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Lewis is. I'm not going to say Lewis is strong here, but he's strong fucking everywhere. It's Lewis. He will be strong at most tracks you put him on. Do you think that Red Bull will be looking at this now, going, actually, we can have 4 cars versus 2 for the rest of the championship? Helmut Marko will be literally, yes. Helmut Marko
play
will be
nicely
there
together.
Right.
Yeah, they can be right, Pierre Gasly has got the pace to be driving a Red Bull car. He's done it before, and he's done well at AlphaTauri. He won at Spa, didn't he?
Yeah.
Will they be sat there thinking, okay, what can we do that if we do get the jump on Lewis, or there is contact and they have to pit, and Gasly gets in between the top and Lewis, if Gasly can get in that gap, what can Gasly do to hold them up?
But imagine if Pierre, I know, not just hold him up, say for example, because Pierre has got one of his, I think it was his first ever podium was at Brazil, but it was Toro Rosso a couple of years ago. He's got the pace, he knows the track, he's done well on the track before. Not saying get in the way of Lewis, but say Max gets P1, Bottas P2, and because the cars don't like the traffic, if Pierre Gasly's around P3, P4 and manages to finish P3, that chunks an extra 3 points off what Lewis gets from Max. So that will only increase the lead.
Yeah.
So you can look at it as a race strategy where who can get where, who can hold people back, like Valtteri Bottas holds Max back in certain overtaking points when they're lapping, that kind of stuff. Or you look at it as, will it actually, it'll help Max more by finishing the race in a higher position, which means ultimately Lewis has a bigger gap to make up. Because at some point, the gap will be too big.
Yep.
25 points. If I'm only getting 12 points and you've got 25, that can only happen 2 more fucking races, and the gap's too big for you to get it.
There is that thing of it'll get to the point where the gap's not even, mathematically, the gap can get up to 24 points or 25 points with the fastest lap, and everyone could be like, oh look, Max can still DNF and Lewis wins, gets fastest lap. But there will be a point where it will almost be like Lewis will accept that he's not going to do it this year. Surely, and I know obviously in the media he'll always he'll be saying oh yeah, no, we're still going to battle for every point, blah blah blah, like in any sport or anything like that. But there will become a point surely where they go, okay, right, let's get ready for next year,
and then say, write this one off, let's go next year.
Let's go again.
I reckon, you can see. I reckon next year will be Hamilton's last send it year. And then go into more of a teaching role for George Russell, if that's George Russell listens to what fucking Toto Wolff says and goes, wind your neck in for a year, basically. They've said they're worried about a Nico Rosberg situation with George coming in.
I think they can say that, but they won't care as long as they're winning the championships. If you say to Mercedes,
but they want them if Mercedes draw 8-time world champion, and be like, Mercedes the only driver to have the 8-time world champion on the books, kind of.
They don't get any more money, though, for having someone be an 8-time world champion for them. They don't get any money for the Drivers' Championship. And at the end of the day, there's a price cap on what they're allowed to spend on the car these days.
Yeah.
So
True. It's just I think from a marketing perspective, because these are all businesses. Lots of F1 is corporate and business and all that stuff. And I feel that marketing, that's what Red Bull want Max to be the youngest world champion. Because think how many energy drinks you can shift. Like I said the other week with Perez, if Perez won in Mexico, think how many fucking Red Bulls you'd shift in Mexico with Perez's face on it. They're a drinks product. They use Red Bull as Red Bull Racing as a marketing product as well.
Yeah.
And it's all about the bigger corporations. How can we make money from it? But yeah, cool. 1, 2, 3. What's your 1, 2, 3? Go.
For next week?
Yeah, Brazil.
I'm going to be someone that wants to keep it interesting. So Lewis, Bottas, Max, just so that Lewis can get some points back, keep it going another week. Because once this is over, then it's like, oh great, we have to wait like 4 months until anything happens again.
Max, Lewis, Lando. I was going to say Lando, Lewis, but Max, Lewis, Lando I'm going with.
So you still think Max is going to get
I
further
think
ahead?
Max will do it because it's similar situation. Similar. It's not like the Saudi Arabia that heats. It's when we changed the different part of the world. I think we made some variation again, but it's the similar area of the world, similar temperature, similar altitude. Not as high, but the cars are working there. And they're like on form from.
Yeah,
look at America. Look at Mexico, Brazil. Cool. Well, thanks for watching. If you like what we said, drop a like. If you didn't disagree with Charlie, drop a comment. Tell him he's a twat. Cool. See you later.